Pictures that you're seeing there, we are already on the steps of the National Treasury building there. That is Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, John Mbadi, his maiden presentation of the budget 2025-2026. A budget like no other, where the government this time has opted to introduce no taxes, but rather focus on tax administration, mopping it up to ensure that it raises the requisite funds to support development, debt servicing, as well as just payment, of pending bills is one of the issues that is really pending bills, and wages there taking up a majority of the monies on recurrent expenditure there. That is John Mbadi, who is FCPA John Mbadi there. For the first time now, he sits at the top of Treasury in terms of leadership. The last time we were having the budget 2024-2025, he was in Parliament waiting to listen in on his predecessor's presentation of the budget. That is none other than Professor Njuguna Ndung'u there. Earlier on, Alan had told us that there was a bit of a scuffle there with members of the public seemingly wanting to breach that particular called on off section for this particular budget presentation. But then the security apparatus seemingly has the situation on hand. As now you can see, that is the famous lift of the briefcase 2025-2026. This is a tradition that Kenya had borrowed from her colonial masters, that is Britain, having been there for several decades, and we continue with the same procedures as you can see there. So we are likely to wait and see if indeed John Mbadi is going to walk or is going to use a ceremonial vehicle, that is a Passat, that is usually outside National Treasury buildings. And he's flanked by his PS there, that is Dr. Ksh.4.2. He served at National Treasury with the former Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is Professor Njuguna Ndung'u. And there, members of Treasury as well join in for the photo op. That is a photo of the day there, just signifying that indeed this document is ready for presentation. We're expecting some slight changes maybe in the figures there, given that the Budget and Appropriations Committee also had given its recommendations earlier last week in regard to what had already been received at Treasury. That was around on Wednesday, April 12th of this year. Also flanking him in that particular photo op is none other than the CBK Governor, Dr. Kamau Thuge. Early this week, we had the MPC sitting and making some decisions that would affect matters of access to credit, especially for private sector, lowering the central bank lending rate by at least 25 basis points to 9.75%, the lowest it has been, to just try and ensure that the private sector gets the line of credit that it requires. If businesses flourish, then indeed government can raise the requisite revenues there. Photo op at the stairs of National Treasury on a day where CS John Mbadi is going to be presenting his maiden budget there at the floor of the House. We expect that he's going to be making his way anytime from now. He's expected to do that presentation at 3 p.m. And earlier on, we had managed to have a brief with Treasury Cabinet Secretary, where he expressed optimism preparing for the national budget this afternoon. He said that last year was marred by finance bill protest that exposed weaknesses in the engagement and transparency, adding that the ministry had held multiple town halls and public forums with youth as well as professionals to ensure broader input. Mbadi has also noted that the 2025-2026 finance proposed budget will not introduce fresh tax impositions, saying that Treasury will focus on broadening the tax base, improving compliance and tightening the fiscal discipline.